everyone. I apologize for being late. I had to take Hayden to work today, and I usually only let the song play once, but I was grabbing food, so welcome in, everyone. If you could please let me know how my mic sounds, I would greatly appreciate it. I tweaked the filters and settings last night, and while it sounded good to me, I'm also listening on, cheapo headphones that came with my old phone ages ago. So I have no idea how I sound versus the music of the game. So any feedback, very helpful and would be greatly appreciated. I see Tinges and Darkest Day are lurking. Hello. How you guys doing? But yeah, I've been feeling the Vampire the Masquerade bug recently. I was thinking about replaying Bloodlines, but I would have to start it all over again because my old save file broke and I cannot progress in the game. I think that's peaking a little bit. It looks like it's peaking. Nope, that's not the button. I wanted this one. What was the thing I wanted? I think it was in here. I'm going to turn this down a little bit and see if that makes a difference. Because it looks like it's peaking a little to me, and I don't want it to peak. I want you guys to be able to hear me. You guys can hear me, right? It's not cutting out or anything. I need feedback. Somebody help me. Sorry, I'm so hungry. I made sweet and sour chicken. But yeah, I thought about replaying Bloodlines because of all the bullshit I have to do over again because my corrupted save file made it kind of hard for me to come back to it. I've never beaten the game because it keeps getting corrupted, which is unfortunate because I really do enjoy it. I also need to find the patch that makes the game playable. So I figured I'd play this game. It's been in my library for a hot minute, and I haven't played it yet. I realized when I was reading the description the other night that you don't get to choose what clan you're in. You get to play as the character they default you to. I was like, oh, okay. So that sucks because I'm a Gangrel through and through, and I don't. I like playing Gangrel. But yeah, we're gonna jump in here and see what happens. Ooh. Let's see, I could be a Bruja. The rabble rebel against power and rage against authority. Seemingly insignificant man with significant ideas will join their ranks tonight. I mean, he cute. Ventru, the aristocratic blue bloods embody wealth, sovereignty, and control. Top-level corporate executive will join their ranks tonight. Or Toreador. The divas seek thrills of art, romance, and cruelty amidst stagnant undeath. The tormented artist will join the ranks tonight. Well, I prefer to play as a woman, personally, so I'm gonna go with the Ventru. Oh, good. I get to. Why is that the default? Why did you default to that? Teacher, I have questions. Why did it default to that? Bullshit. What, phone? I don't care about my pulse card. I don't use the damn thing. Oh, what should I name you? I don't know what's the name of the character. Use. After 5 o'clock. Of course I'm yawning. My brain just keeps going back to summer, but I don't know. I gotta sneeze. What do I name this character? God damn, I can't. I'm really drawing a blank on names. I didn't think I'd be able to name you. Go with that. Sure. I don't know. Cool, I get to read all of it. Mistakes were made. New York taught me to believe in fate. Whoa. Okay. That's not what I had in mind. Slow the fuck down, sir. If you asked me about fate back when I was human, I would have told you it's just superstitious bullshit. I need to move my logo because it's blocking the subtitles. You're going up here. Boop. There we go. That. Back up for now. Okay. All right. That we are all designers of our own destiny. Dictionary. Cool, I have a dictionary. That's going to be useful. Okay. Apparently I cannot access the settings. Oh, I can't access the settings. I lied. We'll see what's standard. Okay. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not a face you could have seen in the papers, of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. That's not the button I want. That's the button. Settings. Oh. I suppose I don't need the font to be that big. That should be okay. I'm just worried about my dyslexic ass not being able to read. It happened in the very same place you're standing right now, by the way. Fate, you decide. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile. Just listen a little longer. See, my mistake was that I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see its glow again. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit. I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women. I did that backwards, but you get the point. A career and a spark in my eye. The one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided that would fit me much better. She was a 9th generation kindred, just like you, an apex predator. She probably enjoyed teaching me. The fuck did you just hiss at me for? That is my food, bitch. Get the fuck out of here. Both of you. Excuse me. Cats decided that they have possession of my food, even though it's my food. Anywho, she probably enjoyed teaching me the peak of human excellence. my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth, braggart, and see them for all they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Well, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate. A message saying you're eternally doomed to be at the mercy of your sovereigns. It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teaching. Hers wasn't a message of doom, a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it if given the right tools. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys. Me, just her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. You might have wondered how I've learned about your arrival to JFK Airport. That's where I am? Okay. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be a day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane, having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place, was a little desperate, and I do apologize for it. But it is so rare for you to visit New York. 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you're never eager to inform me you're here. Oh, you're the prince. Oh, fuck nuggets. I'm the prince. Not who I was looking for, but... fuck. 53rd Street later tonight, so I'll provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much, don't get me wrong. But it is precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favor you owe me. You're the only one I'd trust to do the job well, and without practical attention. You might think I'm crazy, asking you to breach the rules of our society like this. You might think it's impossible to get away with it unpunished. But this is New York, and I don't know about other cities, but in this one, fate really exists. And right now, it's smiling in your favor. This is how it begins. Your phone rings. It's your boss. Again. The setting sun that filled your high-rise office an hour ago is gone. The city looks like an ocean of light from up here, spreading for miles to the north. You pick up. You were about to call it a day, forget about the world of fintech, and decompress at home. No dice. One of the investors wants to meet you. His voice, as always, the perfect mix of authority and sleaze. He'll come by your office in an hour. You look at the clock. An hour? He's got to be kidding. Yeah, I know, but stick around. He's a heavyweight. You'll want to make a good impression. Fine. Grit your teeth a little. The boss hangs up. 2 hours. Might as well pour another coffee into yourself and figure out how best to use this to your advantage. You suspect everyone knows that no, you're actually not happy with your current position. That, in fact, you feel squished against the glass ceiling that comes with the territory. Sure, your idiot superior might have gotten the job only because he's the CEO's golfing buddy, but you're going to put an unholy amount of work into your advancement. Times were you'd laugh off the idea of staying at the office until 9 p.m. You had a partner to go home to, a nightly Netflix and chill ritual to perform, complete with pizza or Chinese takeout. Ever since you moved up the ladder, though, your hours have only gotten longer. Food? Mostly at the company cafeteria. Sometimes takeout. Always in a rush. You praise the heavens for your crazy metabolism and dread the day it finally decides to give up. Fucking feel that. Rest? At this point, the cleaning lady who takes care of your apartment probably spends more time in your bedroom than you do. You flash back to your boss quoting Shakespeare to impress his new, extremely attractive, and uncomfortably young secretary. For some must watch while... For some must watch while some must sleep. So runs the world away. Ooh, I don't like that it picks that stuff up now. I'll have to tweak the settings some more, but if somebody could tell me how it sounds, I'd appreciate it. Drinks? Mostly with colleagues, and they all pretty much hate you at this point. Another flashback, this time to the most profitable quarter in the company's history. Still, the board decided that layoffs were in order. Your boss didn't feel like letting people know in person, so he passed that privilege on to you. Gotta hand it to him. He always knew how to pick his battles. Maybe, just maybe tonight is the night it's all going to change. You decide to play the good looks angle. Nothing too slutty. You leave your blouse slightly unbuttoned. Check if your ass looks good as you remember in your pencil skirt. Mirror says yes. It's not something you're proud of, but you've become too jaded to care. Knowing your luck, the investor is going to be one of two types. The self-obsessed Musk wannabe in his 20s, or a fat old pervert drenched in cologne. You hear the elevator ding. Time to get this show on the road. You take one final look in the mirror and fix your hair as the footsteps echo across the empty hallway. The man who approaches your office is not what you expect. He's slick, to be sure, but he seems a bit more refined than your usual company man. Expensive suit, matching tie and shirt, confident in his stride, surprisingly good looking. Your definition of surprisingly good looking and my definition of surprisingly good looking are very different, thank you. No. Oh, I dropped some rice in my lap. Where did you find your definition of good looking? Because this ain't it. Now fucking Metro Mike walked in. We got good looking, but you good back there, Mara? You okay? Okay. Good evening. I hope this unforeseen visit isn't too much of an inconvenience. God, that voice. You're taken aback by how smooth... Listen. I feel like you're trying to get me to really like this character. Like, to be sexually into it. But, you're talking to the wrong person. Just... No. No, I can't press space to continue. I have to click the finger. Fine. He's all business. Professional. Treats you in a manner that's appropriate to your stature. When he speaks, he actually looks you in the eye and not at your cleavage. That I can appreciate. He asks some questions about your work. Tells you how he noticed your input after talking to the CEO, another golfing buddy, and comes charmingly close to calling your boss an incompetent doofus. All the while, you try to guess his accent, but can't quite place it. European? Sure, but where from? I know I've kept you long enough, but would you indulge me and join me for a drink? So long as I'm not the drink, bitch. Of course. For a minute there, it seemed like he wasn't that kind of guy. But what the hell, you go with it. He seems nice enough. Besides, it's not like you have other plans. The investor has a limo waiting downstairs, and the driver takes you to a high-end restaurant in Williamsburg. The seat is waiting for you in the deluxe lounge. It's just the two of you. You talk about this and that. Your companion seems to have a knack for history. So tell me, what would you do if you had full control of the company? You almost choke on your wine. This is your chance. You say what's been on your mind for months, but hide it behind a veneer of professional corpo babble. Refocusing, listening to your instincts for once, restructuring, kicking out your boss, aggressively pursuing new markets, getting the hell away from all these horrible people. He likes the sound of that. He leans forward, his eyes flash with intensity. And something else, a strange emotion that wasn't there before. Uncomfy! You'll do just fine. His words echo inside your head as you black out. I'm a fledgling now. Probably. You wake up. God only knows how much. As you try to piece together what happened, you hear a familiar voice. The investor, or whoever the hell he is, talking to someone. You suddenly recall snippets, fragmented memory. His sapphire eyes, well, first of all, you said they were like a steel color earlier, so steel and sapphire are two different things. Intently locked with yours. His teeth suddenly longer, sharper. And something else. Feeling on your neck that takes you back to your last orgasm. Woo! Company trip to Florida. Sweaty room. Cutie from HR who doesn't work there anymore. And then darkness. Yep, we're fledglings now. Awesome. Yes, I'm done here. Consider my debt paid. Oh. Oh. That's a weird way to pay your debt, sir. The investor pushes the other figure aside and walks away from the lounge, barely bothering to look at you. The door locks behind him. Some time passes before you find the strength to get up from the couch. You touch your lips. Blood. Did that asshole hit you? You try to stand up, but your head is pounding, and your stomach is like a heavy knot, pulling you down. You didn't have that much to drink. You must have spiked your wine. This is bad. You frantically check your clothes. Pristine. Doesn't make any sense. All of a sudden, feeling hits you unlike anything else you've ever felt before. You fall to the floor, writhing in an all-encompassing pain and hunger. The kind that makes your insides burn, that cannot be denied. You try to calm yourself down with a breathing exercise they taught you at some bullshit mindfulness course. I think I'm peeking. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust my mic as I do this because it sounded good to me last night, but I'm also speaking a little louder than I was when I was working on it last night. So I'm like tweaking it as I go, and I see that it's peaking. And if it's peaking, you guys probably can't hear me. So if somebody could give me feedback on my mic, it would be greatly appreciated. I'm gonna put it down here and see if I like that. Somebody tell me if it sounds good, please. I need to know. I need answers. I have questions. I also have hunger. Well, not the same as yours. Okay. Water too. I knew it was a visual novel, and I knew I'd be doing some reading. Really hoping some of it had a voice over so I wouldn't have to do all of it, but fine. You try to calm yourself down. Oh yeah, I read that already. That's when it hits you. You're not breathing. And holy shit, your heart should be jumping out of your chest with that realization, but it's not moving. Not even a beat. The door unlocks. You hear a startled voice. A young man in a waiter's outfit, his accent thick with an Eastern European harshness, leans over and asks you if you're all right. For a brief moment, you wonder what the hell he's doing here. Everything is wrong. Then his smell reaches your nostrils. It's intoxicating. everything feels right again. He holds out his arm to help you stand up. You grab it firmly with both hands, and then you bite down. You sink your teeth right next to the old school pinup tattoo of Rita Hayworth on his forearm. Interesting. It takes you a moment to process what you're doing. Part of you wants to break away, but a stronger voice implores you to keep drinking. One thing becomes clear. You are definitely enjoying it. He only struggles a little and quickly falls to his knees. You can see his eyes now, pale blue and confused. You only bring yourself to let him go once he collapses onto the floor. Your bite leaves a mess on his forearm. Poor Rita, all bloodied, missing half her face. Did you just drink this guy's blood? Did you kill him? Because there's blood coming out of his mouth and eyes now, too. Did you? The fuck did you do, Vita? You spit out a piece of torn flesh. Oops! Okay, we don't normally go that far when we play vampires, but alright. That's, why? Where? What was in that fucking wine? The managerial call. Become embraced into the Ventrue clan. If I had it my way, I'd be embraced into the Gangrel clan, but fuck you. I did not mean to put that down. That's so hard. I'm so sorry. Barely able to focus. Your heart and your lungs still motionless. You reach for your phone and dial 911. 911 operator, what's your emergency? My heart stopped. I can't breathe. I killed somebody. Can't breathe. I don't want to say I killed somebody. That's a good way to get myself in a lot of fucking trouble real fucking quick. Can't breathe. Ma'am, where are you right now? The door to the lounge swings open. The man who enters is not the one that brought you here, though there are some similarities. He's tall, for one, broad-shouldered, handsome, dressed in an immaculate suit, but his skin is darker and the look on his face tells you he is not here to negotiate a deal. He notices the smartphone in your hand. Pass me the phone if you want to live. Yeah, those men don't look anything alike, but okay. The man's voice is persuasive, calm, but carrying clear threat. He's got the aura of a viciously efficient corporate shark. You find it hard to argue with him. Ma'am? Hello? I apologize for wasting your time. My new colleague
I truly believe water can solve all our problems.
Yes,
Boyle.
definitely.
You want to lose weight? Drink water.
Exactly.
You want to have clear skin? Drink water.
Yes.
I'm gonna need
Are
more
you
water
really
soon.
tired of someone?
Drown them.
Oh my god!
Yeah, drown a vampire. See how that works. Boyo, how does my microphone sound? If you're even listening, you may have me muted, for all that I know. Anywho, I apologize for wasting your time. My new colleague got drunk and is now trying to impress everyone with her antics. Good night. That is not what that was, but thank you, fuck you. He disconnects the call and places your phone in his pocket. For whatever reason, you can barely take your eyes off the stranger. As hypnotizing as his presence is, though, it's also highly discomforting. A lot. Good evening, miss. I'm here to pick you up. Who are you? I'm your guide through this perilous night. The stranger approaches the waiter and examines his body. Critical condition, but he might live. Anyway. He then sets his sights on you. I know this is all new to you, but I've dealt with hundreds of strays like you. In going by experience, they tend to fall into two categories. Huh. Is that about the investor? First, there are the smart ones who carefully obey my every word and don't try to pull off anything stupid. I always get them where they need to be, safe and sound. And then there are the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on, the wise guys who tried to contact somebody secretly and without permission, the troublemakers who tried to run off or make a scene. None of them got to their destination in one piece. In fact, most of them never reached their destination at all. Okay. His voice becomes slightly bored and monotone. You can tell he's given this speech before, likely dozens of times. So you see, while I generally consider myself pretty smart, I'm also a Mets fan. It's my one true weakness, one that inspired me to come up with a three-strike system when dealing with pups like you. So you're not smart, because you're a Mets fan. If you get on my nerves once or twice, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful situations. But cross me 3 times and you're out. No excuses, no forgiveness, no mercy. As he's talking, he slowly approaches you, adding a bit of theatrical swagger to his walk. Eventually, he leans in, deliberately invading your personal space. You realize it's a test. He's daring you to do something about it. 3 strikes, and you're out. Say I understand, sir, now. Every atom of your being screams for you to obey his authority. Every atom of my being screams to fuck around and find out. Fuck you, sir. What are you even talking about? That's where I'm at. Can you please just tell me what's going on? No. I thought I made myself clear. Strike 1. No, you didn't. I don't. The character, I know that we're a fucking fledgling now. I know that. Player knowledge. Character knowledge, though, has no fucking clue what the fuck is going on. You're telling her to come with you, but you're not telling her why. So, fuck you. Moving on. Is there anyone you'd want to inform about your current situation? What is the current situation? You won't tell me. Tell them you're alright? He flashes his fangs briefly, and for some reason, the sight sends a chill down your spine. There's something very wrong about him. Someone closest to you? There's no one. No, I don't have anyone. The stranger squints at you. We're not close to the boss. We already called him pleasant names, so that's not a lie. No family, no lover, no friends, nothing. A job. Your blank stare tells him the whole story. He immediately stops crying and gives you something even worse than a look of pity. A look of honest compassion. Well, that makes things simpler, but let me be crystal clear, just in case. From this point on, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up under, and you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anyone know you're still alive. You are forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes looking for you, it's over for both you and them. That practice tone again. You put on your poker face and listen in silence. So unless you want your boss to end up at the bottom of the Hudson, I suggest you cooperate. I mean, I'd be okay with that. He's a douchebag, so go ahead. Put him in the Hudson. Cool with me. Actually, can I do it? Can I do it? I'd rather do it myself. I'll do it myself. Don't tempt me. He smiles, revealing his fangs again. There's something absolutely sickening about it. Suddenly you feel overwhelmed by a sense of exhaustion. Pass out. Can you guys please stop making me pass out? It can't... I know that I'm dead, but it still can't be good for my brain. Sorry, I needed to give my voice a rest for a second there. When you regain your senses, you find yourself in the stranger's arms. The man is holding you as you would a spouse who's had a little too much to drink. You try not to break free, but he holds you close and gives you a cautioning look. Only when you cease your struggling does he let you go. Only now do you notice the change in scenery. You find yourself in a fancy lobby right next to the elevator. The place is virtually empty, save for a single concierge and some cleaning staff. Your companion gestures at the concierge as you pass, and he picks up the phone. The elevator arrives, the door opens, and the man motions toward the cabin. After you. Where are we going? To a safe place. That's all you need to know. Sounds like one of my D&D characters. Trust me, you don't want to make this difficult. Just get in. Inside. Going against your instincts, you enter the cabin. Smooth jazz is playing over the speakers as the elevator starts its descent. You are dazed, panicky, but somehow locked in place. On the one hand, you find the stranger's presence oddly soothing. On the other, you can feel your body tensing up with stress. You can't help but think back to the young waiter, the doe-eyed look on his face, the confused look he gave you just before... No, it's better not to think about it. Plus, you have other things to worry about, like the fact that you're being kidnapped. The cabin door opens to the same garage you arrived at with the investor some hours ago. The man shows you a black Cadillac Escalade. I know what you're thinking. Getting into a car with some strange man? Oh, it sure seems like a dumb idea. Maybe I can make a run for it. I might be able to lose him. Let me be perfectly clear. Your best bet is to get in, relax, and enjoy. What do you want? What do you want from me? To meet your new superior. You'll see. Superior. Is that what a hostile takeover looks like nowadays? No more questions. Get in the car. Get in the car. It seems like the worst idea ever, but the man's made it very clear that you have no choice in the matter. What's your name? Can I at least know your name? You'll know it when the time is right. That's fair. Takes a glance at his expensive-looking wand. Listen, you really need to quit stalling. We're on a bit of a schedule here. The sun comes up in about 2 hours, and I don't intend to be here when it does. Sun? What does it matter when the sun comes? You really don't know, do you? Good thing I got here when I did. He opens the car door and gestures towards it. You see no point in delaying the inevitable, so you get in. The door locks behind you. The Cadillac is almost entirely dark. The side windows seem light-proof. The man gets into the driver's seat, starts the engine, and drives away without another word. Did I die? Depends on your definition of death. Listen, I realize you have many questions. Tomorrow you will get some answers, but tonight you need to do what I say. And right now, I need some quiet, please. You feel too confused to protest. You stay silent for the rest of the ride, even as questions bubble up to the surface. One of them being, did you actually kill someone tonight? Staring out the window, you find it hard to focus and quickly lose track of where you're headed. You can only tell that you haven't left Manhattan. Another underground parking. Almost featureless, empty. The car stops, and the man opens the door for you. You're here. The stranger walks you to a nearby door. He opens it and motions at you to get in. Go on in, make yourself comfortable. If you get hungry, again, take a look in the fridge. I'll pick you up tomorrow, and you'll get your answers. Behind the door is a small room. No windows, just a simple bed and a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. A small fridge is humming away in the corner, accompanied by a rattling AC fan in the wall. You're leaving me here? That's it? You're just gonna leave me here? That's it. For now, at least. Look, this room is your best chance of seeing another night. I realize you've been put in a problematic situation, and it's not entirely your fault. Corporate, and you might still cooperate, and you might still make it. You will learn tomorrow. For the time being, get in and get cozy. He gestures inside the room. Step in. You step inside. Stranger nods. Oh, God, it's even worse than you described. Why is there a random shoe? Good night. He locks the door behind you. It looks very sturdy. You open the fridge. There's a single plastic bag there, filled with red liquid. No label. Tomato soup? You feel sick to your stomach. Let's leave it for now. You lie down on the bed. It's a simple mattress on a metal frame. At least it's not too filthy. You think back to how this evening began. This investor. Is he friends with the dark-skinned stranger who picked you up from... from something. What happens now? Unable to relax, you spend an hour or so playing out various scenarios in your head. God, that sounds like me every night when I'm trying to go to fucking sleep. Eventually, you decide to give in and let exhaustion take over. Whatever tomorrow brings, you'd rather face it well rested. Plus, there's no way in hell your boss isn't going to notice your absence tomorrow. That, and maybe some of the restaurant staff will feel a pang of conscience. Someone will notify the police. Someone will find you, right? You flash back to the waiter's tattoo, the bloody Rita Hayworth winking at you over a pale mess of a wound. You did this. You bit him. Drank his blood. It tasted good. What if you can never go home again? You are so tired. Your entire body tenses up one last time, and before you know it, you drift away into oblivion. You wake up. That, in itself, is a surprise. You barely remember when you drifted off. It didn't feel quite like sleep. More like plummeting into an endless void. You imagine that's how death feels. The room is unchanged. The lamp is still on. The AC is still rattling. The refrigerator is still humming. You take a look at your watch. It's almost 9 p.m. You've slept for 17 hours straight. Maybe you died. Your breath is gone. You feel no thumping in your chest. Does that qualify as dead if you're still conscious? You're not sure about that, but you are certain about one thing. You are hungry. Not your stomach rumbling, though. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and the back of your head. You open the fridge. The bag is still there. You take a closer look at it. If it's soup, then its color and texture are off. You pull the cork out, take a whiff. You recognize the smell immediately. Holy shit. There's no mistaking it. It's bagged blood. The smell is faint, and you remember some situations in the past where you found it nauseating. But now it's almost... No, not almost. It is enticing. Drink it! Nom, 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 nom. It feels wrong, but right now there's barely anything in your life that doesn't. Hell with it. You pour a bit of the liquid into your mouth. It tastes like shit. It's coppery, thick, and clings to your tongue. And the inside of your mouth like a film of dirt. Oh, your tongue and the... Okay. You swallow hard regardless. The taste is foul, but somehow, you kind of want more of it. As you take a second sip, sucking the blood out of the bag, you feel something pull on your insides. You double over. You're going to barf. You instinctively cover your mouth, looking for a place to vomit. Before you find it, the dark red wave washes over your hand and fingers. It hits the floor. splattering in huge, thick drops. You keep heaving for a moment longer. Nothing is coming out. Not blood, not bile, not even spit. But still, something in your body wants to push it out. Push it all out, every last drop. As you recover, trying to wipe droplets of regurgitated blood from your dress, you hear the lock click and see the door open. Standing there is the well-dressed stranger you met yesterday. Immaculate suit again. That predatory look, like a hawk on a hunt, but somehow more relaxed tonight. So like a tamed hawk, maybe. Good evening. How was... He notices the spatter, your red hand, the sick look on your face. It barely contains a smirk. Oh, was the catering unable to satisfy your exquisite taste? Apologies. Offer him a drink. You can't tell me you can drink this. He takes the bag off your hands and pours all of its contents into his mouth. He closes his eyes theatrically, savoring the taste. When he opens them a few seconds later, he looks sharper, energized. Not all of us are picky eaters. Come on, we've got places to be. I should have some water and a towel in the back of the car so you can clean yourself up. The car is humming in the empty parking lot, just outside the door of the cramped room you have spent the day in. The man motions to it, politely, but with a stern look on his face. Hijack the car. That's a great idea. That'll go well, I'm sure. Get in. It's not like I have a choice, right? Correct. But your cooperation is appreciated, nevertheless. You take the back seat again. Doors lock. The stranger takes the wheel and starts the car. You drive in silence for a while. From time to time, you keep trying to catch glimpses of familiar streets or landmarks through the blackened windows. But it's of little use. The car is also soundproof, so all you can hear is a bit of traffic humming and the car's engine. The driver doesn't say anything and seems focused on the road. You check the door handle. Yeah, the door is locked, all right. The piece of dark glass separating you and the front of the car looks sturdy, too. There's nothing left to do but wait. You didn't have time to think about it before, but you realize now that you're hungry? No, not exactly. It's not a rumbling stomach that grabs your attention. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and the back of the head. Yeah, we've talked about that already. You become restless. This is essentially a kidnap. Whatever this guy says about its purpose, it doesn't change the fact that you're being held against your will, and you're not used to following orders when you can't delegate them to somebody else. You feel a need to get a semblance of control over the situation, so you decide to prove yourself useful. I know people in high places. I have a worthwhile skill set. I can get you a lot of money. I mean, you're not getting my sweet and sour chicken. I love you, but you're not getting it. Oh, you're looking right at me. Hello, sir. I know people in high places. Listen, I know how to reach people. Celebs, various industry leaders, politicians backed by rich lobbies. I doubt these will help you where you're going. You're playing in a whole different ballpark now. Short pause. I'll be frank. Currently, you're in no position to offer anybody anything. The sooner you accept that, the better. Ridicule his lack of ambition. Big words from somebody's dedicated errand boy. I wonder if you've ever achieved anything. Push the right button. He gives you an absolutely furious stare through the rearview mirror. For a second, you spot a crack in his professional demeanor. You don't know anything about me. You have no idea where I'm coming from or where I'm headed. For a few seconds, he quietly fumes. Your attitude won't help you make any friends, and in your current position, you definitely need some. Consider that, preferably in silence. That dull hunger strikes again. The powerlessness hurts. You are used to people listening to you, or pretending to care about your demands, at least. The driver doesn't play that game, and it annoys you to no end. It takes you another 20 minutes to get to your destination. As the door opens, you try to get your bearings. You're still in New York. That much is certain. Queens, maybe? After me. No sudden movements, please. You approach a nice-looking building that houses a 2-story gallery called the Art Hole. 2 large men in suits flank the door on both sides, and they give your companion a nod as you approach. Prompted by the stranger guiding you, you walk inside. The gallery is full, which is unusual at this hour to say the least. About 2 dozen faces fill the showroom, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering, serving drinks. All of them are beneath the guests' attention. The visitors are well dressed, for the most part, but it's unclear what they have gathered here for. Nobody seems to be particularly interested in the art pieces on the walls, and the atmosphere is polite, unnaturally so. Many guests turn to look at you and the stranger who brought you here. Their glances are varied. You see open contempt on a few faces, and animated interest on others. Most of the eyes in the room calmly observe you, as if wishing to appraise your worth. This reminds you of your company meetings. You, the only woman in the room, silently judged not on her merits, but her standing on the list, cast in clandestine email threads between your male coworkers, until HR found out, that is. Not the most pleasant experience, but there's no denying it taught you resilience. When others would cower, you now straighten up. When others would turn their gaze, you meet the eyes of the gallery's guests with confidence. Good evening, Kadir, they think. And you, child. The noble, cold voice takes you out of your head and back to the situation at hand. The gallery. A crowd of strangers. You being brought here against your will. For what purpose? The room awaits your response. Good evening, Miss. You are addressing the Prince of New York City, Helen Panhard, child of Mikhail? I don't know how to enunciate that, and I am sorry. Thank you, my sheriff, but I am capable of introducing myself. She is somewhat plain-looking and doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm, but still the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has influence over these people, that much is clear. You may address me as Prince, child. I realize your introduction into unlife was abrupt, and I understand your sire left shortly after. The rules of our society dictate I punish you both for this transgression. A murmur of agreement, maybe, can be heard from the gathered audience. But I am willing to listen to what our loyal sheriff has to say about the circumstances of your embrace first. I don't understand. Wait, I'm confused. What are you saying? I think it shall all become clear momentarily. You were pushed headfirst into a world you have not realized the existence of, but before you can partake in it, there needs to be a trial. You are about to be judged by the court of New York City. Kadir, please tell us how you found this fledgling and what happened on your way here. Court? Prince? Is this some kind of secret society make-believe? A trusted informant, who has chosen to remain anonymous at this time, tipped me off about a suspicious kindred appearing in one of our domains. Upon investigating, I found them gone, but this fledgling remained in their place. The reservation made in the private lounge of the patrician suggests this one's sire had plenty of resources to spend. However, they are apparently also well connected. I lost track of them. Despite some reservations, she offered little resistance last night and cooperated on our way to the safe house. I was pleased to not have to force her compliance. Opening the door to the safe house tonight, I was greeted by a most disturbing sight of her drenched in regurgitated blood. Apparently, the bag supply we kept in the fridge was not the liking. The remark elicits a contemptuous chuckle from one of the gathered guests as they note the remains of the blood on your skirt. It was not an elegant sight, but that hardly matters, I suppose. Moving on. We had a quick chat, but wishing to appear here post-haste, I urged her to join me, which she did without struggle. Pleasant departure from my usual routine, I must say. During our drive here, she showed me her fangs, metaphorically speaking, posturing as if we were equals, insulted me when it didn't work. I refrained from causing her physical harm, but I expect her ego might still be a bit bruised. He looks at you and flashes a nasty smile. The story ends with us arriving at Elysium tonight. All eyes are on you again. You take a special interest in one of the faces. It's a beautiful woman, curly, almost blood-red hair, and a dress to match. You see her whispering to some bespectacled man, with an absent-minded look on his face. Who is she, you wonder? Thank you, Kadir. I take note of this fledgling's behavior and will take it into consideration later. She turns her attention to you. First, there is the matter of your sire, the person who brought you where Kadir picked you up from last night. Who were they? A handsome businessman? An entrepreneur, an acquaintance of my boss, I think. Good looking, pale blue eyes, and some gray in his hair. Charming, abusive, old son of a bitch. You feel tired and angry. This whole situation, spending the day in some underground parking lot, having to bear the looks of a room full of strangers, it's almost too much to take in. There's no reason you should take it all in stride, but you do, because if there's one thing your professional career has taught you, it's that. All because of that asshole, whoever he was. Never even gave you a name or a card. Nothing. Well, Kadir, does that sound familiar? No, it does not. Or at least not familiar enough. I will continue the search after we're done here. He talked to somebody at the restaurant. That man, he talked to somebody at the restaurant right before he left. I can't remember what he said, but he wasn't alone. Maybe that's a lead you can follow? Did he now? That is interesting. I do hope the proprietor won't stay mad at us for losing one of his staff. Almost like he knows the waiter's fate is still bothering you, and takes pleasure in pointing it out. Thank you for that observation. I will investigate it later. What shall I do with the fledgling, my prince? What is your recommendation, my sheriff? The traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another without thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. I am ready to fulfill my duty. Stay your hand for just a moment longer, Kadir. I wish to consult my counsel on this. Make sure everyone is in agreement. Maybe you weren't the person I was talking to. I don't fucking. Of course. He seems strangely relieved. Prince leaves the main showroom, and a handful of people follow her out. You're about to ask this Kadir what all that talk of tradition and councils was when the red-haired woman approaches the two of you. Sophie. Sheriff. I was wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling. What for? She lowers her voice in response. Come now, Kadir. We all know what the verdict is going to be. Let me speak to them. You might not have to stain your hands tonight after all. Her words grab his attention. His face is hard to read. It's like several emotions are struggling for domination. Anger, sadness, hope, gratitude, resolve. I'll go get my sword. He steps out of the room the way you came, and you are left in the showroom with the woman in the red dress. She takes you aside, and the eyes of the remaining guests follow. Well then, fledgling, you are in quite the pickle. Maybe you'll tell me what do you mean? What do you mean? I still don't understand what my crime is here. Poor thing. This really isn't your fault, but if you want to get out of here in one piece, you need to understand one crucial fact that seems to have eluded your grasp. Last night, you became a vampire. What? Oh yeah, I'm well aware of how ridiculous that sounds. It's the reason why we have these nicer words for it. Kindred, being embraced, having a sire. The fact remains. The beings called vampire. You're looking at them. They're us. You glance around. Some of the guests are still occasionally looking at you, commenting on you in hushed tones. Many of the patrons are pale, really pale. Most hold glasses of wine. No, not wine. That's not the right thickness. And not the right color, either. You're trying to come up with something sensible to say, but you're drawing a blank. It makes a morbid kind of sense. You drank blood last night, there's no denying it, and your breathing has not returned. Your heart remains still. Vampire. Two voices in your head start battling for supremacy. One of them slowly begins to put everything that happened since yesterday together, coming to a conclusion that no matter how insane it might seem, nothing but what she's saying makes sense. The other voice just keeps saying, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" on repeat. Yeah, I'm familiar with that voice. You're surprised. This is often how it plays out by design. Kadir deliberately keeping you in the dark and all. If we do nothing, you will be cut down, as sure as day follows night. But I'm here to offer you a chance, a way out, under one condition. I will take you under my wing. If you're lucky, the prince will be in a good mood tonight, and Kadir's complaints about your behavior won't influence her judgment. This society values docility. She might agree to this, but only if you swear fealty to me. So I wonder if the person who sired me was talking to her. I wonder if that is the case here. There is something blocking ability to see OBS. Go away. Alright. Let's get to a good stopping point so I can take a stretch break. And get some more water. And stuff some more food in my face. I don't like to eat on stream, especially when I'm reading. I'm not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect on me. If they reflect negatively, well, I will make sure you face the consequences. How will you convince the prince? You're saying the prince might have other plans for me. What will you offer to convince her? You'll see it yourself, hopefully. Know this. There are certain traditions and a history of our society in this city that I can tap into. My word might not carry that much weight, but it is not easily ignored either. Steps and hushed voices can be heard from the side room. It seems the prince and her council are returning to the showroom. Kadir appears from downstairs as well, starts walking towards him. When you hear the verdict, ask to be spared. I will intervene. Remember my condition. She flashes a heart-melting smile towards Kadir, who does not smile back. The sheriff's immaculate suit is now complemented by a curved, oriental-looking metal scabbard, fastened with a colorful sash around his waist. it would look vaguely ridiculous if it wasn't surprisingly intimidating first and foremost. Kadir takes his place next to you and observes as the prince takes center stage again. Loyal kindred of the city, Camarilla get. Sorry. Let me try that again. Oh, shit. Loyal kindred of the New York City Camarilla gathered here tonight. I have made my decision regarding this fledgling. Their behavior since being embraced has been disagreeable, and that does not bode well for them becoming a valuable member of our society. What has been disagreeable about my behavior? I accidentally killed one person because I wasn't told that I was being turned into a vampire. I hardly call that disagreeable. Unfortunate, yes. Disagreeable? No. You are all keenly aware that these nights we need to close our ranks and trust the wisdom of our elders and their traditions more than ever before. As our trusted sheriff pointed out, there can be only one course of action. Although I acknowledge some of my council's divergent opinions on this, takes a look specifically at one of the people who left the room before, a somewhat plainly dressed, shy-looking man, whose skin has a somewhat healthier tone. He bows his head in deference. I hold the final authority over this fledgling's fate, and I declare that while their embrace might be the sire's responsibility, in their absence it is their progeny that shall be punished. The sentence is final death. Be resolved presently, Kadir. You hear the scraping sound and see that the sheriff has unsheathed his curved sword. The beautifully detailed blade which you expect must be worth a small fortune. Its apparent sharpness makes you freeze up. 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. His quiet mumble is audible to nobody but you. As his eyes meet yours, you note just a hint of sadness in his countenance, one that quickly vanishes to give way to grim determination. And he's out to bat. You will not get another chance to speak up. Ask for mercy. You make your choice. Spare me. Please, don't make me beg. God damn it. Prince, if I may ask you to stay the sheriff's hand for a while longer. Kadir looks at the prince, awaiting her response. The sword is still hanging above you, threatening to fall at a moment's notice. Is there something you'd like to say, Miss Langley? Langley? Ooh! Okay, sorry. I just thought of another character with the name Langley. Yes, if I may. At first, the prince looks somewhat annoyed at the distraction, but she stays quiet for a while, measuring the mood in the room. The bored elite suddenly look at you with aroused interest, some of them dismayed at not seeing the bloodshed, but all intrigued by the unexpected twist. The prince nods. Well, let's hear it. Sophie takes a few steps forward. All eyes are on her now. But Kadir's heavy hand on your shoulder makes it clear you won't take advantage of the distraction. My prince, while the traditions are clear, I believe that the proper context should be observed in addition to the letter of our law. This fledgling is a burden, but with proper guidance, they could become an asset to our domain. And I understand you are volunteering to taking this unruly child under your protection? Yes, I am willing to give them a chance and prove the entire domain that they can adhere to our expectations. I will take nothing less than their full cooperation, naturally. Whispers can be heard again, an incredulous voice or two, a hushed, just behead the fucker, some suppressed exclamations of surprise. Silence. I ask all of you to make a note of this moment. I might be persuaded to bend one tradition in this child's favor, but another will have to be enforced even more firmly in its stead. Until thy progeny shall be released, thou shalt command them in all things. Their sins are thine to endure. Are you certain that's a responsibility you wish to shoulder, Miss Langley? I am willing to guide this fledgling and add a valuable ally to our sect in this time of need, yes. But I would like to receive the right of destruction over them, if it pleases you. Remain silent. Its clear tensions are high. It feels surreal to listen to the stranger discussing your death, or second death, apparently, and keeping silent. You decide it's for the best to let Sophie handle this alone and not interject. You have no idea how to handle this eyes wide shut crowd. The prince looks at you as if weighing your worth. She takes another good measure of the room before she speaks again. I shall grant what you ask. Let it be known, Sophie Langley, of the clan of the Rose will... Sorry, let me try that again. Let it be known, Sophie Langley of the clan of the Rose will become this fledgling's patron. They shall be considered like sire and child. Miss Langley will take full responsibility for them, and I grant her the right of destruction if she sees fit to use it. Let my intentions be clear, however. If I am to turn a blind eye to one of our most important traditions on this occasion, I expect it to be beneficial to Camarilla, substantially so. I hope you find this verdict satisfactory, Miss Langley. Of course, Prince. Thank you. Very well. She turns to you. What is your name, child? Vita. Prince. She nods. Welcome to the Camarilla, Vita. Now, this evening proved to be even more eventful than I anticipated, but with the fledgling's fate decided, I believe our meeting here can conclude. Thank you all for appearing on such short notice. Give my regards to those who couldn't make it. Dear, a moment of your time before I let you return to your duties? Of course, Prince. He shoots you a side glance that doesn't leave much space for interpretation. You will be watched. You will be judged. And if need be, you will be punished. The two of them leave the gallery. Well, Vita, I think we've both already managed to significantly improve each other's evenings. But let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? I think we should have a toast to a new, fruitful partnership. She raises her hand at one of the well-dressed concierges, who have now reappeared in the showroom to refill the guests' glasses. The conventionally handsome man approaches with a carafe of red liquid. The memory of throwing up in the safe house is still fresh in your mind, and the idea that it could happen again is almost enough to reject the drink altogether. But there's no denying you want it. Need it. Excuse me. I remember what Kadir said about your misadventure before getting in the car. Some of us have more delicate palates than others. Try to take a small fit. S'il vous plaît. I don't know if I said that right. I don't French. He pours it into 2 tall glasses. You can barely wait until he hands you the drink. Your attention is fully on it. The fact that it's blood, you're certain of it, doesn't faze you this time. It's difficult to take just a sip. Even though the taste is as foul as before, you are tempted to down the whole glass in one go. You wait before taking a second taste. You're glad you did. The feeling like heartburn signals that you can't keep it down. You spit it back inside the glass. Sophie looks on, intrigued. I'm not surprised. NYC caterers have very bourgeoisie ideas about what good blood should taste like. Well, you just need to keep trying. At Sophie's request, the concierge serves you 3 other variants of blood. The first 2 are as horrible and indigestible as before, both ending up back in the glass within moments of tasting. Before the 3rd try, you are almost ready to throw the glass at the wall in frustration. But finally, this one's different. Instead of mud and decay, a surprisingly rich bouquet of taste. You feel blissfully at ease, and Sophie takes notice. Ah, there it is. Jacob, would you kindly let us know who the donor was? Leave the bottle. The concierge nods and leaves again. You take another sip. Another. You empty the glass. The dull feeling in your stomach and head starts subsiding, but you still want more. Sophie pours you another glass and refills hers. She takes a sip. You have a curiously specific taste, Vita. Is it the clover notes, the traces of caffeine, or that bittersweet aftertaste of melancholy? You taste nothing of the kind, but it doesn't matter. It's tasty. But not as delicious as it was last night, not as intoxicating. It manages to silence the hunger somewhat, though. Drinking blood puts you at ease. It is a strange realization. The man named Jacob comes back with a small card and leaves it with Sophie. She takes a quick look and passes it on to you. It's somebody's medical details. An office worker, male, Caucasian, 32 years old, blood type ABRH plus, positive. AB, what is the RH? I know what AB is, but what is RH? I've never heard that before. Blue eyes, brown hair, no history of substance abuse. Beautiful. New Jersey native. Might one of these details be what makes the difference? I mean, I'm a sucker for someone with dark hair and light eyes, so fuck me up, man. Now that we have picked the right bouquet for your palette, these documents should be useful in identifying your exact taste. Should they be ORH positive or Joyzy boys? But I believe you have more questions, no? Perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance. How much do I have to drink? Where do you get blood? How will I know what I can drink? Well, we just figured out the what I can drink part, sort of. How much do I have to drink? I feel this hunger constantly. How much do I have to drink to make it go away? The sad reality is it will never go away. No matter how much you drink, you will always be tempted to have more. Unless you consume someone wholly to the last drop, paying for temporary relief with their life. But that is a one-way road to losing your humanity. Best start by just taking a single sip from a vessel. Be prudent. Hot, fresh blood will be more satiating than most anything that they serve in a fancy glass. But it can make you more... Oop, apparently, hang on. Can I go back? Voracious. Okay. Cool. Good to know that I can go back into the log. As to how much you should have, it depends. If you're frugal, you can survive many nights without a single drink. But it's risky, and will tempt the beast that is part of our curse. Tomorrow I shall take you hunting, and we will explore this topic further. The blood you're having tonight should be enough to keep you happy for now. You mentioned a beast. What will you expect me? What do you mean by hunting? What will you expect of me? So now that I'm working for you, what are my responsibilities going to be like? It's a bit more complicated than working for me. If I wished for a servant, there were easier ways to achieve that than risking the prince's chagrin at Elysium. I can see potential in you that would have been wasted if I hadn't spoken up. Not to mention it would pain me to Not to mention it would pain me to witness a senseless final death. It always had. That said, I will require that you defer to me in all things. But me being your mentor and superior also means that I shall treat you as my loyal retainer and understudy. With me, you can go far. Without me and proper guidance, you would have become a clear danger to the masquerade. That is why, with your sire gone, the prince wanted you out of the picture too. The concierge returns, asks for permission to intrude, which Sophie gives with a polite smile, and leans in to whisper in her ear. You note that the gallery is now almost empty. I'm being told the gallery is just about to close, but we still have quite a lot to discuss. We'll go to one of my apartments. My jalopy Okay, a jalopy is a real thing. I just thought it was a funny word. Is waiting downstairs. Come. The smile she puts on could tip any negotiation toward her favor. Her words are like honey, and she makes it impossible to take your eyes off her. You are under her spell momentarily. Sophie leads you to a luxurious silver Rolls Royce and invites you to sit in the back. The chauffeur, broad-shouldered, clean-shaven, middle-aged guy, starts driving immediately. Where did we leave off? I believe I started telling you a bit more about our customs. You've heard the prince refer to our tradition. The chief among them is the masquerade. As you might have gathered from us assembling at a niche gallery after closing time, our comings, goings, and doings tend to be somewhat secret. We do not advertise our existence. We allow myths and modern fiction to morph and muddle the facts. So, to the vast majority of kind, we remain bedtime stories and pop culture icons. Say, is that one television show about a vampire angel still popular? Vampire angel. Vampire? What? What the fuck nuggets are you talking about? This is why I should be Gangrel, because the way I respond, naturally. You shake your head in confusion. She shrugs and continues. Oh! Vampire Angel. It's literally a vampire named Angel. She's talking about Angel from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, who had his own spin-off. Jesus Christ, I figured it out. I pieced it together, I promise. You shake your head in confusion. She shrugs and continues talking, looking a little bit more dejected than before. Our clandestine ways help us remain safe, allow us to explain away the occasional trip up to the rational minds of 21st century humanity, and dictate much of our interactions with mortals. What about my career then? So what you're saying is, who I have become must remain a secret. What about my job then? My career? Is it over just like that? Not necessarily, but you will need to step lightly. It goes without saying that you will need an explanation of your disappearance, and it will be a few more nights before I let you go it alone. You might be one of the kindred now, but that comes with some caveats. For one, sunlight burns us. That's why we rest during the day. You felt it. More like being dead than being dormant, isn't it? The more folk-related threats are just legends, or occasionally a minor nuisance. Garlic, running water, even religious symbols don't tell us. Unless the wielder is uniquely pure and godly. Sticks through the heart, though, that's something to avoid. They do not destroy, but they do paralyze. Which, under the right circumstances, can often be the same thing. I mean, you put a stake through anything's heart and it's gonna cause some damage, that's for fucking sure. That's a reason to have somebody like my trusted driver, Gregory, making sure you're safe when you drift away. We have many enemies, and they often know their advantage lies within daylight. How can you trust your driver? Do vampires watch each other's backs? So it's good to keep human friends? Am I right in thinking that having a human friend or two is necessary then? Or at least useful? In moderation, and best if they don't know your true nature. Also, I would say that subordinates are useful, but friends? I haven't had one of those in many years now. Our little sect supplies social interactions aplenty, but it doesn't really encourage friendships. Alliances of convenience to be broken at a whim. Yes, that's more like it. Long-term solidarity does occur in the Camarilla, but we are very politicized organization by necessity. Loyalty is to your sire, to your prince, and to the sect. Friends must remain at a distance, prior must remain a distant priority at best for us to maintain the masquerade and thrive as the years pass. With age comes authority. With it comes influence and power, if you wish to reach it. She seems to be lost in thought and falls silent for a while, leaving you to ponder all the things you've learned tonight. It still feels absolutely unreal, but as piece after piece of knowledge falls into place, the image becomes almost like an entirely logical jigsaw puzzle. Whatever you wouldn't believe on your own, you've witnessed. Many questions swarm through your thoughts, but the one you keep returning to is what your place in this new reality should be. Okay. Change of scenery. I'm going to take this as an opportunity to take a stretch break, as I have been live for an hour and a half and have not done so. So I will be back momentarily. Yeah. Because I need more water and I need to eat. I'll be back. What are
Whoa, multiple monsters! Oh shit! Did you guys get that on film?
I don't even know where the...
Oh god!
Oh god, there's something behind you, Chaos!
No. I don't think we really put it.
Emotes.
Do you? Wait.
You
do
my
find
emotes.
this?
That's what this order here thing is. Your Starbucks menu. Oh my god, what the fuck just happened? Where the fuck did you come from?
Up.
Manna does not do coke, can confirm. Shut up. You're grounded. What? Oh, wait a second. What the shit?
You want me to ring the damn bell? Okay. I unfortunately cannot mute myself on, Lethal Company, so I apologize for this.
Okay.
What the hell?
Somebody redeemed ring the damn bell.
Yes. And I have an upgraded spear.
Uppies. Uppies.
You want uppies?
I got uppies.
I need to go.
What the fuck? The shark head's over here now!
Nope, it's still over here.
I'm looking at another one.
Where?
Right there.
On the wall.
What the fuck? Why are we growing shark heads?
Someone
That's it,
has
I'm
got.
destroying the house.
Someone's fucking with us. They're, like, someone has to be fucking with us.
Oh, Jesus! You like flew across my screen! Oh my god. You like flew across the screen. It was ridiculous.
What the hell?
Flashlight.
What's that? What does that mean?
It blinds you.
Oh, that's neat.
Can I? Is it really this easy? Can I really cheat my way through this? Oh my god! Had I known I could do this, this would have made things so much easier. Oh! I have so much rage at this point. Like, I actually.
see what it is. You would have to make a jump across that, Blue.
Okay, I am back. Hi, Bit. Welcome back. She was, for whatever reason, sleeping on one of my anti-fatigue mats out in the kitchen. Okay. Goodness, okay. Should have made tea. That's what I should have done. Made myself a cup of tea. Oh well. Alright. I want to take 4 bites. I'm sorry. I didn't get to eat a whole lot while I was doing that, somehow. I'm sorry, I'm hungry. I'm a fat bitch. I'm not really, but a little bit. Yep, that sounds about right. Okay. The car stopped. You were in the city, in front of an old but well-renovated apartment building. We're here. Would you like to see your lodging? Is it another parking lot room? My own apartment? Neat. I get my own apartment. That's neat. Consider it the first of many gifts that I'm able to grant in exchange for loyalty. Come upstairs. She leads you through a small hall with a night guard who greets Miss Langley with a good evening, and you take the stairs up to the second floor. Sophie opens the door to room 209. Inside are all the amenities you could expect from a modern apartment, and some you wouldn't have deemed necessary just the previous night, including thick blinds on the window. The back room has a comfortable-looking bed and a thick steel door with several sturdy-looking locks, but no windows. Well, how do you like it? This is great, thank you. What, can I choose another? Well, enough. This is great, thank you. I'm glad. Make yourself at home. Tomorrow I will take you hunting and discuss the blood in more detail. I'll let you get comfortable. The keys are by the television set. I'll come pick you up tomorrow night. Use the back room for rest. You can lock the doors, just in case. It stings a bit when she leaves, like the room suddenly became a few shades dimmer. You inspect the kitchen, hoping to find something to drink. Nothing. No regular food, either. Feels strange that Kadir could be a more thoughtful host than your new sire. Even if only in that respect. Oh, you briefly wonder if the sheriff might have a hidden side. With nothing left to do, you lie on the couch with the TV playing in the background for company. Columbo reruns. Bojack reruns. President of the United States got himself into serious trouble again. When did this game come out? President of the United States got himself out of trouble again. Did he? Pundits start yelling over each other about things that seemed a little bit less insignificant just 2 days ago. You start drifting off, reflecting about another night of confusing conversations and worldview-shattering revelations. How many more before you finally understand what happened to you and what you're supposed to do now? You keep coming back to the life you left behind, the people you should contact, the things you want to pick up from your... from your apartment. You wonder when you'll have the chance for either. As you start to feel the same tiredness that made you drift into a cold sleep last night, you settle in the back room. The bed is comforting, the lack of windows less so. You leave the light bulb on. Looking at it, you realize it's the closest you'll ever come to seeing the sun staring at the sun on a breezy summer day again. A wave of melancholy overwhelms you. Jesus, it's so aggressive! A few minutes later, your consciousness fades, and you take the plunge into darkness again. Sinking, 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 sinking. We are resting. We are loading. I think we're Oh, no, we are not loading. Okay. What am I looking at? I'm looking at New York. Hi, Crazy Blue. How are you? I'm doing all right. If you could let me know how my audio sounds, I would appreciate it. I've been playing with the filters and settings. If you could let me know how it sounds, I would greatly appreciate it. Oh, we're in a tutorial. Holy shit. I've been playing this game for an hour and a half and I'm only just now getting the tutorial? What? Why? Hour and a half in, we're just now getting to the tutorial. Oh. Oh, God. That's a lot of chicken. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I'm trying to squeeze bites in every chance that I get. I wanted to eat before stream, but I took Hayden to work, so that wasn't possible. Ooh, excuse me. Hunger is at the heart of a vampire's existence. To ignore it is to tempt the beast to take over in its desire to feed. Shut up! To overindulge in feeding may threaten the masquerade while staining what humanity you have left. In Coteries of New York, I don't actually know how to enunciate that. Having high hunger is indicated by a progressively thicker, bloody frame around the screen. I was wondering about that. Like the one you see now. Doing good, just trying to look for my crochet hook. Did you look in the couch? That was my first guess. As your hunger grows, so does this indicator. Your hunger may increase when you call upon your vampiric powers, or when you need to mend your wounds after a fight. When your hunger reaches the maximum level, you will receive a warning after you complete a piece of story. Ignore it at your own peril. Some choices might only become visible if your hunger is high enough. Similarly, high hunger may block off some choices, as you will be able to see after pressing continue. Ah. Ah. To decrease your hunger, you will need to feed. Whenever you see a feeding opportunity, you can take the risk to hunt and slake your hunger. Feeding opportunity. You will need to keep the hunger at bay if you are to uphold the masquerade and survive the nights that await you. Okay. Well, we're not looking too hungry right this second, so that's good. You open your eyes. The bed isn't warm. The room is filled with artificial light from the ceiling. The solid metal door is closed. Normally, you'd stretch for a bit. On some mornings, you'd probably throw the quilt over yourself and snooze a moment longer. But that was before. The way you woke up now, you are fully conscious. No grogginess, nothing weighing you down, just the nagging need in the back of your head. Hunger. There it is. Not as severe as the last time, but unmistakably there. You get up and open the door to the main room. A digital clock on the TV shows you the time, 9:04 p.m. You walk over to the blinds and retract them cautiously. The only light coming in is New York City's of artificial nighttime luminescence. So that's what your waking hours are going to look like now. You miss the sunlight already. You're seriously considering just walking out of the apartment and figuring this all out by yourself. But then you come back to the memory of Kadir's exotic sword being raised in the gallery. maybe sticking around isn't that bad of an idea after all. You keep jumping channels for around half an hour and then switch to streaming services. Almost as if the universe had a sense of irony, you catch True Blood in the flood of recommendations. The doorbell rings. It's Sophie. Good evening, Vita. Sleep well? Like a dead man. Curious wording, but not that far from the truth, I suppose. No use dwelling on it. I think you will agree with time. You made the right choice yesterday. I can teach you many things about yourself, your blood, its desires and its powers. We'll begin tonight. You are hungry, yes? I'm sure you are. Our kind always is. There is only one remedy. Blood. The drinks we had yesterday at Elysium are not the usual way to slake your thirst. So tonight, I will assist you in your first foray into hunting. You need to learn to sense the kind of blood you desire, to understand how you can use the kind's vulnerabilities to your advantage. I don't normally have it out in the living room. It would be somewhere in my bedroom, but I can't seem to find it. That's fair. That is fair. I'm gonna blame the cat. I'm ready to learn. No more freebies? Predator and prey, huh? Grim. I'm ready to learn. Well, I'm ready to learn. Let's get started. Why am I carrying a wallet? Such eagerness. Or is it just your hunger making you impatient? Hey, shitheads. You having a good time back there? Shitheads. You will find that drinking moderate amounts of it regularly will keep the hunger and the whispers of the beast away. You might think yourself monstrous, but there is a balance to be found here. The kiss is the kind pleasure. You might remember this from your own embrace. Some can even become addicted to the sensation. But, if you do it right, they tend to misremember your feeding. After all, vampires do not exist. They are myths, fairy tales, and pop culture mainstays, correct? She gives you a sly, knowing smile. That is why the masquerade is so important, and even more crucial when you feed. How do you select a victim? Let's go in order. How do I choose who to feed from? Are there better or worse targets? Isolated kind are easiest, prey, of course, but much depends on context. Hunting requires a different approach in a busy club than it does on an empty street. With time, you will have the luxury of finding your preference in hunting methods and prey. For now, I suggest experimenting, in moderation. Feeding from the same area repeatedly can be dangerous, but by branching out, you risk the ear of other kindred on whose domains you trespass. Lucky for you, NYC is more forgiving in this regard. New York is in somewhat of a unique position. Many of its neighborhoods remain contested or unclaimed. The reason for this is a lesson for another time, but keep the following in mind. Take opportunities to feed when they present themselves these upcoming nights. As long as you hunt cautiously and respect the masquerade at all times, you should be fine. To wit, I want you to join me for a trip tonight. Come downstairs. Gregory is waiting for us. The busy street fills the air with traffic noise, pedestrian chatter, and a mix of smells that disorient you momentarily. These warm bodies contain what you want, what you need. You catch yourself. Did you really just think of these people as mere sources of blood? Takes a nudge from Sophie to break your train of thought. The driver opens the door for her, and then tips his hat to you, gesturing to the back of the car. The car casually joins the somewhat thinned New York traffic. It's still busy in a way only one of the biggest cities in the world can be. But compared to the daytime commute, pleasant drive. You barely have the time to gather your thoughts and formulate new questions before the car comes to a stop. You're among the tall skyscrapers that make up Manhattan's iconic skyline. Come, Vita. Park the car, Gregory, will you? The driver just nods, and Sophie gets out. You join her, and the two of you walk through the glass doors together. Then take the elevator up. You first notice an empty stage with the instruments of a string quartet still in the back. Then take in a few dozen chairs in front of it. The concert seeming concluded, patrons all smartly dressed and posh spread out all over the hall. Sophie strides confidently inside, produces an invitation from her purse as she flashes in front of the security guard. You follow close and are let through without issue. Was I given a change of clothes? Did I wash the blood out of my clothes? Because I'm pretty sure my skirt still has blood on it. No, we're not going to talk about these loose ends? Okay. Let's start easy. A social setting like this one would usually prove quite challenging to an inexperienced kindred, but consider this evening a small gift from your patron. I'm hoping to procure for you a willing vessel. Just remember what I told you about taking small sips. This one I have a soft spot for. Don't damage her. Now, let's see here. Ah, there he is. She notices somebody in the crowd, flashes a heart-melting smile, and suddenly even you feel drawn to her. You haven't thought about it before, but it's laid clear before you, and it's in this moment. Sophie is beautiful. Just looking at her is a privilege. Just being with her makes you feel elated. Everybody in the crowd, but especially the man who's almost tripping over himself to reach her, clearly agrees. Edgar, I'm so happy to see you. How is your daughter? Is she with you? Oh, there she is. Julie, my girl, come over, please. There's somebody I'd like you to meet. The young woman who walks across the hall can't be more than 19 years old. It's clear from her mismatched earrings and the partially faded purple hair dye that she doesn't fit this crowd. Julie, this is Vita. I think the two of you should get acquainted while I talk business with your dad. Awfully boring stuff, I assure you. I'm positive you'll like each other. The girl gives you a shy smile and nods toward the balcony stair. You follow, somewhat unsure what it is exactly Sophie expects you to do. I need to move this over so I can see my time. Almost 8 o'clock already. You reach a secluded space from which the entire lobby is visible. All eyes are on Sophie. They listen intently, then laugh when she does. Julie saves you the trouble of figuring out the next step. If you're with Sophie, then I guess you're, that you know. Puts her wrists to her lips and gives herself a theatrical nip, then looks to you, embarrassed, but also hopeful. Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. Takes off her jacket, and buttons her sleeve, and rolls it up. You see a tattoo of a cat in an astronaut suit, one feline eye winking. There, just enjoy. A perfectly awkward smile and a blush. I have to buy a new one now. That's unfortunate. I hope it turns up blue. It's gotta be somewhere. It's not like I grew legs and ran away. I just noticed the dick on that statue back there. Just dick. Oh, God. Drink from Julie. But don't kill her, please. You take her forearm in your hands, A quick look around confirms nobody's watching, and no security cameras cover this area. You bite down gently. It's surreal. She's just given you her blood of her own volition. How is this possible? What about the masquerade? You need to ask Sophie. You tear away from her. A brief convulsion shakes you. Her smell, it's not right. I'm gonna work on a couple projects, but those are gonna have to wait. Well, hopefully it turns up soon. The temporary feeling of bliss the girl felt when you bit her is gone in an instant. She's disappointed. Annoyed even. He looks at you, unsure what's the matter. Come back, please. Just have some more. Just a little bit more. The very thought makes you want to throw up what little of her blood you've tasted. You shake your head. The girl sniffs, starting to cry. Wipes her face into her jacket sleeve and walks down the stairs and into the hall. The crowd around Sophie disperses slowly, looking at her now. Only some residual awe hangs in the air. Yes, she's pretty. Maybe even beautiful, sure, but not your type. What came over you before? You walk over to her. Edgar, dear, it was splendid talking to you, but we need to get going. Give Julie my best wishes. Come, Vita. Gregory is waiting for you out front. It's only in the car that Sophie addresses you. So, how did it go? I tried, but couldn't do it. Couldn't stand the smell or taste. Curious. I consider Julie's blood to have one of the most exquisite and unique bouquets in the city. And trust me, I have refined taste. It almost sounds like she's offended. Oh well, if at first you don't succeed, perhaps you need to change of pace. Time for the next stop. Training wheels off this time. Gregory, Flushing Meadows, please. The driver takes the car over the Williamsburg Bridge. You settle your thoughts. What did you do to the people? What's this about training wheels? Why Flushing Meadows? Why Flushing Meadows? Flushing? What for? Other than the fact the Unisphere is beautiful at this time of night, a great hunting ground on which to try out some of the talents of blood. It's a Swiss Army style, but for crochet hooks. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. We all have our talents. Some of them come from the legacy we inherit from our sire. Others can be learned with experience. I can sway people or make them fear me. I see more of the world and in greater detail than some kindred. I can will my body to move with the unparalleled precision and grace of more. All of these skills make me who I am. They also help me hunt. What are my powers? How do I use my powers? Do I need my powers to hunt? What are my powers? Okay, so what are my talents? Time will tell. You need to discover them yourself. When we arrive, experiment. Give different things a try. Follow your instinct and intuition. It will guide the blood. Always keep the masquerade in mind, however. It is all fine if you can disappear in plain sight or command animals with your mind. Save overt talents for the right place and time. It only takes you half an hour to reach the park at this time of night. Both you and Sophie leave the car, with Gregory left behind again to find a parking spot and keep an eye on the car. Sophie seems deep in thought. She takes in the surroundings with a dreamy gaze. The sky is surprisingly clear tonight. Stars just barely visible in the light-polluted aura of the city. I feel like having a snack myself. I'll be by the fountain. Go look for somebody to your liking. See what effects you can achieve with your own blood. But only pick one victim. Just one. Then come back. Seeing how she seems not altogether here right now, you decide to leave Sophie to her own devices and seek out your prey. From here, it looks like you have a few choices. Taking a stroll around the park and finding an isolated jogger, or someone like them could work, but focusing on one area might be better. The New York State Pavilion might work as a secluded spot. There's a skate park nearby, and worst case scenario, there's bound to be some unfortunate windup. Or maybe the tennis court's nearby. There's light coming from there, so somebody might still be playing a late night match. They won't be alone, but they might be tired and let their guard down. As these scenarios play out in your mind, you realize you're planning how to assault a stranger in the middle of the night. It's a weird way to be, but the now familiar hunger prompts you to act. Search for a victim around the park, hunt near the decrepit pavilion, look for prey at the tennis courts, take a walk, but don't feed. Head to the pavilion. That seems like a good idea. You make your way to one of the park's most well-known landmarks, the round skeleton of the New York State Pavilion, with its two vaguely futuristic-looking towers. You don't get lucky with the skate park, not deserted. Instead, a group of skaters is gathered there, talking loudly and listening to music playing out of crackling smartphone speakers. Ugh. Deciding to have a quick look around, you identify a potential victim, a sleeping bag lady, leaned back on a bench, a shopping cart full of what looks like trash near her. Even thinking of that second option makes you feel sick. You decide to take your chances with the skater, not even getting close to the homeless woman. You think back to what Sophie did in the hall, how she managed to focus the attention of the entire gathering on her. That might be a tall order for you, but a single person could be doable. You single out a guy who's talking on his phone away from the gathering. He's having a heated discussion with somebody. Relative? Partner? It's not going well. At least I bought the yarn that I needed. That's fair. That's always good to have. This talk's over. I said shut the fuck up. Hey, you hearing me? Shut up. Call me when you get some fucking sense in your stupid brain, okay? He ends the call abruptly and almost throws the phone to the ground in frustration. Rough night? He's got an angry expression on his face and tears welling in his eyes, but he gives you a curious look and even a bit of a shy smile. Yeah, you could say that. What's up? I got just the cure for that downer. I got something that will put a smile on your face. He takes a few steps forward, away from his buddies, who remain totally oblivious to what's happening, but you see your influence fading. You take your chance and lunge. Your fangs sink into his exposed shoulder. He shivers and lets out a moan. The phone hits the pavement, and you hear a pacing crack. His blood tastes like a clash of hot emotion and melancholy, laced with some artificial stimulant you can't quite place. An energy drink? A recreational drug? A strange mix. You hardly have the chance to savor it, as the proximity of the skater's friends makes you feel vulnerable. You hastily finish drinking and drag the guy over to the pavilion. When you turn around, you realize you're not alone. A hooded man is looking menacingly at you. What do you think you're doing? Barging in on my turf like this, lick. Didn't mean to trespass. I'm gone. Didn't mean to trespass. Sorry. I'm going. Too late for that, friendo. You want to leave here in one piece? You talk. Candidly. I know what you are, so you can shove that masquerade misdirection up your ass. Now, better tell me who you're with before my posse shows up and we beat it out of you. With the Camarilla? He does anything but chill out. He immediately tenses up, giving you an extremely nasty look, and bares his fangs. You with the ivory tower cunts, huh? Well, 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 tonight's my lucky... Listen, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm gonna fuck you up and bring you to Callahan. You'll have some fun breaking your shins, and maybe, by the end of it, I'll get to have a nice long sip. I wonder what you taste like. This is best impression of Hannibal Lecter's and a nice Chianti shtick, and he's not as intimidating as you think. Dominate. Force him to back down. Enough's enough. You won't be intimidated. Leave. Now. His countenance changed. Rolled beast one moment, humbled up the next. He walks away, just like that. How did you do it? Not wishing to tempt fate any further, you return to the Unisphere, looking back over your shoulder to make sure you're not being followed. Two figures are visible near the sculpture, a man and a woman, tangled in a passionate embrace. No, not exactly. It's Sophie, feeding. So this whole scene is set up so that it looks like a couple getting intimate in public. She pulls it off like she's done it 100 times before. It occurs to you that she probably has. The man is unsure on his feet as she lets go of him and leads him towards a nearby bench. Noticing you, she whispers something into his ear and leaves him. Her driver appears from behind a tree. Well, Vita, how did it go? You're about to answer when the same figure as before emerges from one of the alleys. He looks at the three of you, and a predatory smile creeps onto his lips. You're screwed, dumb fuck. You think you can mess with my head and get away with it? Think you'll be safe with your friends? Well, I have friends, too. He makes a motion to shout, but two things happen almost at the same time. First, that feeling of warmth and beauty emanating from Sophie flares up again, entrancing both you and the hooded thug. His shout comes out as a weak, confused squeak. Second, Gregory produces a wooden stake from a holster under his jacket and slams it into the thug's chest. Just like that, in a few seconds, the posturing vampire is down on the ground, paralyzed. I see you've made a friend, Vita. Curious choice of company, I would say. Who is he? He mentioned a Callahan. It's something about presenting me to somebody named Callahan. Ever heard of him? She looks shocked for a split second, then recovers her regular countenance. Yes, I have. This hoodlum is Anarch, then. Curious. Corona Park has not been claimed by any kindred last I checked. Let's go to the car. We'll put him in the trunk and present him to Kadir tomorrow night. I'm sure he'll be delighted to make this unbound's acquaintance. Gregory carries the staked vampire and dumps him in the car's trunk like a mannequin. A strange sight, and you're quite happy you're not in that poor fucker's shoes right now. It's almost surprising that you can get away with just casually throwing a stiff into your car and driving away, but then you remember that Sophie has been doing this far longer than you have. Still, the nagging thought that anything you did tonight could have been recorded on a CCTV camera or picked up by a rando with a half-decent smartphone and streamed online fills you with dread. Hunting and using your abilities is a dangerous business. It's clear that this whole being a vampire thing has about as many caveats as it has perks. You're taken out of your headspace by Sophie's voice. I'll pick you up tomorrow night, same as tonight. I have some business to attend to at Elysium, and I expect you to accompany me. Plus, our friend at the back needs to be properly introduced to Kadir and the prince. I'm sure he'll have some interesting things to say to the court. Voice is cold, cruel, and nothing like the enchanting personality she showed at the gallery earlier tonight. We weren't at the gallery tonight. Sophie is clearly a woman of many faces. I guess we're at a different gallery. What's going to happen? The usual, I imagine. Interrogation by Kadir. Probably in the basement of the gallery. A quick trial with the prince in attendance if she's there tomorrow night. A swift execution as the verdict. This all sounds eerily familiar to you, and you can't help but feel a pang of guilt when you think about what awaits this guy tomorrow. You haven't told me how your hunting went. Getting the hang of it, I would hope. It'll take some getting used to. And I'll need time to get used to this. It doesn't come naturally. It will, with time. You need to think about it less. Hunting is the one scenario in which you'll do well to trust your instincts. In moderation, of course. She seems distracted. Not all there. Her thoughts drift and the car remains silent until you reach your apartment. We'll pick you up tomorrow evening. Good night. Just like that, without any further courtesy, Sophie leaves. Driven to her apartment by Gregory, with the body in the trunk. Right in the middle of Manhattan. Did you cross paths with situations like these in the past, unknowingly? What other secrets did you pass on the streets without knowing their true nature? Your haven is just as you left it hours ago. Although the sun won't come up for some time, you feel tired. You learned something about yourself today, and it'll take some time to process. You're not in the mood for television, and the few books on the shelves in the apartment are either in languages you don't speak or sound like a read. Nothing left to do but rest. You settle in the back room, lock the door, a moment of hesitation. But then a decision. This time, turn the light off. You think back to Julie. How many people in this city know about this vampiric society? How many are willing accomplices in sustaining it? And the thug you met in the park, he's not Camarilla, then what is he? Are there independent vampires? How does that work? More questions. You begin wondering if there's ever going to be a night when you can start crossing them off the list, instead of adding to it. You close your eyes. You sink into the now familiar void of nothing. It greets you with open arms, like an old friend. Cool. Oh, is that how I save? Because I have no idea how to save. Oh, save and exit. Okay, cool. Well, that's simple enough. I'm going to play for about 20 more minutes. And then I'm going to call it a night. These visual novel streams are probably going to be my shorter streams. Because all the talking makes my throat so sore.
I need you to do some stretches now.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, happened to hydrate time.
I truly believe water can solve all our problems. Yes, definitely. You want to lose weight? Drink water. Exactly. You want to have clear skin? Drink water. Yes. Are you really tired of someone? Drown them.
Thank you, Blue.
My God.
Aren't you playing D&D right now? How are you listening to me and listening to Boyle BM your game? Tuning Boyle out. Also, no, you're not in that campaign. That's right. You're not in the campaign that's playing tonight. That's right. That's right. You were playing in the one pumps. Let me just stab myself in the gums because I know how to use a fucking fork. Good job, me. That was fucking smooth as shit. Fucking cat hair. Wonder whose that was. What? Boop. I mean, sometimes you just need a break. But I don't remember the last time I played. I played after the Valentine's Day last year. Whenever Tinge's character got the orgy bow, and then as a reward got the club or something that when it crits, it gives whoever he hits. Was it a random STD or was it fucking herpes? I can't remember. Oh my god, that was so fucking funny. Because in the game that I played after that, he was running from security, and I guess he, like, dove under a security guard, and as he went under him, the weapon, like, nut-tapped the guy. And I started laughing. He's like, oh my god, wait, no, we have to roll and see if that critted, and if that guy has an STD now. And he critted. Oh my god, it was so funny. Oh god, it was fucking hilarious. I love stupid shit like that. God, that was fucking great. Brielle will eventually be coming back to, One Pump Chumps. And we are going to incorporate her, adventures in Baldur's Gate as well. Like, boy, when I've already figured out how to tie it into the plot and everything. It's fucking beautiful. So. Alright. You open your eyes. It's pitch dark here. The blackness of a coffin drifting in the abyss. Oh, right. The light. You grasp for the switch, flip it. The familiar, cramped room with the steel door and no windows comes into view. You emerge from the bedroom fully awake, just like yesterday. This time, however, Sophie is waiting for you, comfortably seated on the sofa in your living room space, a book in her hand, The Melancholy of Resistance. The title's sure on brand. Good evening, Vita. Sorry to have kept you waiting. To be fair, I haven't been here long. I was enjoying reminiscing about the time when I called this my haven. The decor was much different, of course. Come now, we have an appointment. I received word Elysium would be called again tonight on account of your unruly friend from Corona Park. This should be a great opportunity for you to mingle. Although I have joined a different D&D group for Tuesdays, which has been fun. That's awesome. I'm glad you're having fun. Excuse me. Hey, don't you eat my spearmint. Making me raise my voice. Don't eat spearmint. Okay. She keeps talking as you walk downstairs and get in the car. Gregory gives you a slight nod and a small smile while opening the door for Sophie. He starts the car when you take your seat in the back. Most of the Primogen Council is bound to be there, at least those who usually attend. Probably some other important personalities you'd do well to at least learn about. Good job. How should I carry myself when inside? You never told me if there's any... Okay. I have no idea. Kind of rules I should respect when talking to other vampires. Knowing that you're among your superiors is probably the most important. In our society, status comes with age. Pardon my sincerity, but you are insignificant. Not even associating with me can make the fact that you've been a kindred for barely a few nights be forgotten. So know your place, stay out of your superior's business, and show the utmost respect. Thanking the prince for sparing you, and maybe having a friendly chat with Kadir, publicly might show your gratefulness for being a part of the Camarilla now. I would suggest you make it sincere. At any rate, you should behave yourself tonight. Remember what I told you about reflecting on me as your patron. I have a reputation to uphold in the court. Do not tarnish it. There it is. She might have saved you. She might be protecting you and teaching you. But it's clear what she's really concerned about. Her own interests. You step into the art hole with something of a bad memory. The last time you were here, your entire world had been turned upside down and your existence nearly ended. I feel like I need to turn the music. down. It gets loud. But tonight there is very little outward hostility. Yes, Kadir gives you a look that's definitely intended to remind you of your place, but the prince, also in attendance, seems pleased to see you. Welcome, Sophie. Vita. Did I get that right? Good evening to both of you. I understand there is somebody else you wish to present to the court tonight. Yes, they will be joining us shortly. My assistant is retrieving them presently. This better be worth the prince's time, Langley. The prince gives Kadir a cold glance. Forgive the sheriff's harshness. He's in a particularly foul mood tonight. Something to do with Vita's begetter eluding his grasp, I believe. Ouch. Must have hurt his ego, even if his only reply is a crooked smile. The mention of your sire makes you grit your teeth in anger, asshole. Settling you with a curse that cut you off your career, cheated you out of your ambition, offering little in return so far. You remind yourself that defeatism will get you nowhere. Mindfulness, the here and now. Mindfulness, the here and now. This is an opportunity. You will make the most of it, if only to spite everyone who doubts your true worth. The flaring up of whispers in the gallery hall breaks you out of your thoughts. Gregory enters the room. The jumpsuit-clad, inert vampire still staked on his shoulder. The show's about to start. Sophie's driver places his charge in the middle of the room and nods respectfully to Kadir. The sheriff approaches the vampire and removes the stake from his chest. The captive's eyes flicker to life, and he starts looking around in disbelief. Like a cornered animal, he backs out on all fours, keeps going in circles until he realizes he's trapped. Kadir steps on the man's chest and pins him to the floor. Why, who do we have here? Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. No, come on, don't. Silence. The sheriff takes on an aura of utter dread. He appears as if he's a primal force of nature that's out to hit you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do but shrivel in terror. The beast inside you shrieks, and you could swear it happens in unison with the instincts of some of the other guests here tonight. It's unlike anything you've experienced in his company during your turbulent first night as a vampire. You really did go easy, all things considered. It seems like it takes all of the hoodlum's willpower to not crawl into the fetal position and start crying. No, please, don't hurt me, man, don't. You and me are going to have a little talk downstairs at the prince's discretion. Please, go ahead, my sheriff. You heard the prince. Get up. Let's go. He doesn't wait for a confirmation. He grabs the man and drags him, kicking and screaming, out of the room. Conversations start all around you. Some whispered, some quite overt. Sophie looks somewhat bored of the whole affair, her eyes wandering from art piece to art piece, clearly finding nothing to her particular liking. Torture in an art gallery? Will Kadir manage on his own? What happens now? So, what happens now? It'll be at least some minutes before Kadir gets the information he seeks out of this thug. Why not mingle while we wait for him to break? Excuse me. Sophie leaves your side and goes to a corner of the gallery where a group of kindred, some seemingly pretty old-fashioned, gathered. The concierge offers you a drink, still warm. It smells nice. Just a sip to start you off, a splash over your palate, coating your tongue and the inside of your cheeks. Nourishment. You're left to your own devices. You have a quick look around. The prince is currently talking to a dark-skinned woman that you recall seeing here those few nights ago. She has a cold but noble countenance to her. Their conversation seems to be casual. A loud, shrill laugh turns your attention to the bespectacled man who you saw with Sophie on the night of your judgment. He's making the rounds, chatting up different patrons. You feel somebody's eyes on you. A casually dressed, plain-looking man stands alone near a column watching you. He turns his gaze away sheepishly when he realizes you notice. I would say the first thing we should do is thank the prince for sparing us. I feel like that is the correct etiquette here, to do that immediately. And then make our way around the room. You approach the prince, trying to stay as respectful of her private conversation as possible. She glances at you as you step forward, her scrutinizing gaze mimicked by her companion. She addresses the dark-skinned woman before turning to you. Excuse me for just a moment, Samira. Yes, Vita, what is it? I wanted to give you my thanks. I wish to thank you for sparing me, Prince. I realize it wasn't an easy decision to make, and I wanted to express my sincere appreciation. How thoughtful of you. She takes a long look at you before she continues. I didn't do it from the kindness of my unbeating heart. You are an asset to Miss Langley, to the Camarilla, and to me. I believe I made the right decision. Proved to me, and the other kindred of this city, that it was so, and there might be more to your future knights than just survival and servitude. The dark-skinned woman looks impatiently at you and catches the prince's attention. Forgive me, it's all the time I can spare right now. We have some things to discuss with Samira still. Enjoy your night, Vita. Bow and leave. You leave the two women to their conversation, which they get back to almost immediately after the prince turns to Samira. You notice Sophie mingling with other kindred, clearly in her element and not to be disturbed. Kadir hasn't come back yet, so you can probably still find time for at least one conversation. Chat up the man with the glasses, because Sophie was conversing with him the night that we were judged, so I believe there's a reason that we should get to know them. Like, there's a connection there that might be useful. The man notices your attention, but it takes a few minutes before he pauses his mingling for long enough to actually approach you. He looks at you quizzically. Interesting. Thomas Arturo. Pardon? It's my name. I assumed you'd like to know. I know you, by name only, of course. Vita, embraced just a few nights ago, huh? Well, well, well. How's Undeath treating you? I'm coping. It takes some getting used to, for sure. Oh, it sure does. Sure does. Good thing we have an eternity to make the best of it, right? He takes a moment to clean his glasses, completely ignoring you until he's done, and puts them back on. I'm sorry, got a bit distracted. You know, most of us don't need to wear these, right? I can see just fine without them. But it's a statement. The damn thing keeps catching specks of dust and other assorted shit, though. Never stay clean for long. Sometimes I think they're more trouble than they're worth, wouldn't you say? They're a pain why wear them. They look good on you. You like it when things are clean? They look good on you. Really? You bet they do. Alright, that was a nice chat, but I have to catch up with a few other fellows tonight. Talk to you later. Jeannie. Hey, Jeannie. Doesn't even give you a chance to say goodbye. He's already off grabbing 2 glasses off a concierge tray and handing one to a mustachioed man nearby. Mustachioed. A loud exchange near the staircase grabs everybody's attention. Kadir is back, and the hoodlum is with him. The sheriff pushes his unfortunate victim inside the room. I'm going to finish this scene, and then I'm going to call it a night. The vampire that threatened you last night is a mess. It's stupid hat of his is still inexplicably on his head, covering some of his ruined face in welcome shadow, barely conscious. His shin is broken, I think, something protruding there, making the pant leg bulge. One arm seems twisted at a strange angle. Very little blood, surprisingly, but clearly a whole lot of hurt. Ironic, because he was threatening to break my shins. Well, did our guest cooperate? Tell the prince your name. It's Howard. And who do you run with, Howard? Midnight. An anarch coterie, my prince. Active for some time now. Though from what this one told me, the name is about the only legacy the group has kept over the years. I see. Hey, Prince, I didn't mean it. I didn't know. I didn't. A loud crack makes some of the guests audibly gasp as Kadir's slap dislocates the man's jaw. A spray of blood creates something like an abstract art piece on the floor. This one is guilty of threatening a member of the Camarilla and claiming a domain without the prince's approval. That alone would be enough to cast swift judgment. But he is also anarch scum. My prince. There can be only one verdict. Final death. Do your duty, Sheriff. Unless, of course, somebody would like to play at being a good Samaritan like our dear Miss Langley a few years ago. The look the prince serves you, and Sophie, is a cruel jest. Sophie takes it gracefully, smiling and slipping her arm under yours in a strange public show of affection. Nobody says anything. The vampire named Howard jumps to his feet and makes for the window. Oh, I wanna do it! I wanna do it. I probably shouldn't, but I wanna. Do it. The moment you catch Howard's eye, ordering him comes to you almost instinctively. Stop. He stops and looks at you with one eye, the other swollen closed by Kadir's interrogation. A swift slash separates his head from his shoulders. Body slumps to the ground and starts decomposing in front of your eyes. The sheriff, sword in hand, gives you a nasty smile from behind where Howard used to stand. Well, Vita, your eagerness is laudable, if unnecessary. That Howard fellow couldn't have hoped to escape his fate, not facing Kadir's expertise. However, I have made note of this show of loyalty on both your and your patron's account. I would like to thank Miss Langley for bringing this anarch thug to my and Kadir's attention. I assume all have found this verdict satisfactory. It's a rhetorical question. Everybody here knows. Then I consider tonight's meeting concluded. Good night to all of you. She steps out of the room, and you see that many of the guests move to do the same. Sophie seems to be conversing with somebody, a serious-looking man in a trench coat, about what transpired. You probably have the time to strike up a conversation of your own, too. Kadir Al-Sami is still here, for one, but clearly getting ready to leave. Arturo is still here, chatting with the remaining attendants. For a moment you think the man who was looking at you earlier left, but he's still here, keeping himself in a secluded corner. Well, I feel like I should talk to Kadir and thank him for not killing me. And for, taking care of me when I was first turned. The sheriff's mood seems to have improved. So you decide you won't get a better shot at saying your piece. He is just sheathing his sword as you approach him. He notices you just before his face turns from a melancholic frown back to his regular predatory smirk. You seem to have caught him in a moment of reflection. What is it, Vita? I wanted to thank you for bringing me. I wanted to thank you for bringing me here in one piece, for giving me a chance. An emotion creeps onto Kadir's face that you haven't seen the sheriff exhibit yet. Is that gratitude? It's fleeting, only there for a moment, gone in the blink of an eye. It was trying on my nerves, and you are still far and away from proving that it was the right thing to do. So don't think that a few kind words will let you off the hook. Oh, I don't. Still, I have to admit, I was surprised as the prince when you jumped at the opportunity to stop that anarch from escaping. I was sure Valerie would have beat you to it. If there's nothing else, I'll be taking my leave. Do you enjoy being the sheriff? Tell me, do you enjoy this? Being a sheriff for Prince Panhard? Enjoyment has nothing to do with this. It's my duty. When Calabros asked me to fill the shoes of the sheriff and root out our enemies, I was glad to serve the sect. When Helen became prince and asked that I keep doing this, I agreed, because I believe in the Camarilla and I respect the fact that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. He picks up the sword and turns toward the stairs. If more kindred understood that, my job would be much duller, though. On that note, I wish you a good night. And watch yourself. You've messed up my batting average, so I'll be sure to keep a close eye on you. With that final threat, he leaves the gallery. It's right about when Sophie ends her conversation and walks over to you. Interesting evening, wasn't it? Come, Gregory's waiting downstairs. She seems preoccupied with something, and not in a talkative mood. It's an awkward ride back to the city. This time, you arrive at another building, just 2 streets across from your apartment. She brings you upstairs, through a very nice lobby and luxurious-looking hall, into her domain. Please, have a seat. I shall be right with you. You take in your surroundings. The apartment is like a gallery, an old-school smoking room that you've seen in some period piece once, and a Nuevo Riche's, living room, meticulously combined together. I'm going to stop after that scene. Oh well, already started another one. Apologies. Old habits die hard. Clearly, some stick with you even after your death. She drags on her cigarette and breathes out. Breathe. How is she doing that? Can you do that? Oh, yes. You might not know it. It takes some practice, but you can keep smoking if you'd like. Other things, too. Experiment. You might surprise yourself. But I did not bring you here to show off. This is where I rest these nights. That door in the back, the bedroom, similar to yours. I have servants and bodyguards in addition, of course. I brought you here because I need you to trust me. When I told you before that I needed your best behavior to uphold my good standing with the court, I meant it. But that's not the whole story. I have your interests in mind, too. That's why I've given you your own haven. Why I'm not trying to teach you how to navigate this new reality. Why I am... Okay, sorry. I fucking fucked that up. But you need to trust me, or else this won't work. You can come here whenever you feel like asking me something. When you're in trouble, too. Though I hope that won't happen often. I would ask you to come here when you wake up tomorrow. I'll have something to discuss with you. Why not discuss it now? Why not talk right now, since we're here together? I still need to follow up on a few things before we speak. Patience, fledgling. That silence again. There is definitely something on Sophie's mind tonight, but she doesn't seem eager to share it with you just yet. I'm leaving for another visit. Come downstairs with me. We'll give you a lift. A quick trip. Promise that you'll show up tomorrow, and some polite goodbyes later. You open the door to your haven and gather your thoughts. It's exciting, in a way, being dragged deeper and deeper into the secret society and its rules. Whatever Sophie has planned for you, it's bound to teach you more about this thing you have become. you sink into your vampiric sleep with just a sliver of hope. It's a welcome change. We'll go ahead and rest. Okay, so I'm going to call it here because I'm tired, or at least my voice is tired. The story so far is interesting. It really is. I'm really interested to see what's happening here. Because we encountered a unknown person who caught somebody off guard and brought them to their place to speak to them. And I believe, because we heard our sires say, consider my debt paid. They were talking about a debt in that previous scene. So I'm assuming that the person who sired us was paying a debt to our now patron. I thought it was the prince at first, but now I'm realizing that it's probably Sophie that they were talking to. It makes more sense now. But I'm going to call it here, and we will pick this up next week and see what happens. I am enjoying it so far. I was hoping there would be a little voice acting to it, so that way I wouldn't have to do all of the voices. My throat is tired. I'm not putting too much effort into different voices for them, because I can never decide on voices. And then once I do decide, I can never fucking remember when I made the voice. Sir, it is my food. Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. But, yeah, so far, it's an interesting story. And I'm very curious to see where it goes. I wish there were more options for character selection. Because, like, Ventru is not... No, the only clan that I am willing to pick is Gangrel, because that fits my personality. But Gangrel was not an option. Bruja was a close second, but I don't like to play as male characters. And the Ventru was the only female character, so I was like, I guess I'm gonna be Ventru, which means I'm gonna be picky as fuck. So, it is what it is. Expensive taste and all that. So, but I'm gonna call it here, and I'll see you guys later. Boyo is having his birthday subathon tomorrow, or at least starting tomorrow. So yeah, you'll have to check out Boyo for his birthday bash. And yeah, I will be back Saturday with more Reka. I learned that it was pronounced Reka, not Rekka. I have not worked on the house any further. Sorry about that. Did I say tomorrow? Saturday. I will be back on Saturday with Reka. I think I said tomorrow. I meant Saturday. If I said tomorrow, I meant Saturday. I haven't worked on the house at all. Thought someone was eating my flowers. I've been meaning to. I just haven't gotten back to it. I have no idea what I want to do with this fucking house. But, we'll figure it out as we go. And then Sunday, I'm doing... What am I doing Sunday? Depression Quest. I decided I was going to do Depression Quest because it lines up a lot with chronic illness. And I feel like that is an important thing for us to go over, given I have a chronic illness. And I do have severe depression. So I felt like Depression Quest would be a good option for us to visit, so that way, you know, people can have a better understanding of chronic illness and depression. It seems like a good idea to me, and so I'm gonna fucking run with it, because that's what I do. Until then, I will see you guys later, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Have a good night. Bye!